So there's 4 different equations. And you're going to have to memorize these equations. So when you see direct variation, you need to think y equals kx. You might know that as y equals mx, so k is your slope. It's basically kind of what it is. And every problem that we're going to do today is going to have 2 built in. You're always going to have to find k in order to solve the next equation. So there's 2 problems within each problem that we're going to do. So k is called the constant of variation. You have joint variation, which is y equals kxz. You guys, those letters could change depending on the problem, but this is how you're going to set them up, okay? You have inverse, and they'll say it varies inversely. No, it is, look at it that it's a fraction. K is in the numerator, x is in the denominator. And the last one is called combined variation, and that's where you're going to have y equals kx over z. So, and you guys can't see that. Sorry, guys at home who's watching the video. It's going to say y varies directly of x, so that's how I got the kx, and y varies inversely of z. So what's going to happen is you're going to use these equations to find k. Then you're going to plug k into the equation to find your missing parts, okay? So this is just showing you how they got the direct variation equation, and then how they got the joint variation, how they got the combination, and the inverse, okay? So let's flip it over, and we're going to do example 1. So you guys, you're always looking at which part is for k, which part do I need to solve. So the nice thing is it's going to either be, the if is either going to be in the beginning or at the end. So you have 2 parts. If r varies directly as t and r equals negative 20 when t equals 4, so that's the first part right there. And then your second part is find r when t equals negative 6. So they're going to give you an if part, and then they're going to have a find part. Or they're going to say, find this if this happens. The if part is the first part that you have to find. So it says r varies directly as t. So that means r equals kt. That's what that means, okay? R varies directly as t, that's what that means, and r equals negative 20, and t equals 4. That's the first half, okay? Because you're not going to be able to do anything unless you find k. So that's the first half. So how would I solve this equation? Divide by what? Yep, we're going to divide 4 by both sides. And we're going to get negative 5 equals k. So that's our first step. Now we can say find r when t equals negative 6. Well, you guys, r still equals kt. R equals negative 5 times negative 6. So r equals 30. So you're always going to have 2 problems. One where you have to find k, your constant of variation, and then one where you plug k back in to find a missing part in the other equation. So that is direct variation. What questions do you have? Okay. The next one we're going to deal with is joint variation. Joint variation is going to be that one where it's y equals kxz. Again, you're going to have to find k, and then you'll plug it back in. And this right here shows you how it works out and why it works out. And then number 2. Suppose y varies jointly as v and t. So that means, I'm sorry, I hope I said that right. Suppose r varies jointly as v and t. So that means r equals k v t. That's our equation. It says jointly, and that's what that means. Now look what it says. It says find r when v equals 2 and t equals 8. So that's our second half. If r equals 70 when v equals 10 and t equals 4. Remember what I said. The if part is our first part. That's the part that we're going to plug into the r equals vt. So r equals 70. We're looking for k. V is 10. T is 4. So you're looking for that word if. If is that first half that we're going to find k, and then find is the second part. So now I have 70 equals 40k, and I'm going to divide both sides by 40. You guys you don't have to use a calculator for this, because the 70, the 10s cancel out, and you're left with 7/4 equals k. No need for a calculator. The zeros just cancel out because they're both divisible by 10. So that's the if part. Now it says find r when v equals 2 and t equals 8. So we have r equals 7/4 times 2 times 8, which means that's basically what it means. So basically, you guys, you need to find that joint variation equation. And so the joint variation equation would be r equals 7/4 vt. That's the joint variation equation right there. K is your constant of variation. So let's just go over this. K is your constant of variation. This is the jointly variation equation for this problem. And now we're going to solve this. And this is why I said you don't really need a calculator, because 4 goes in the 4 once, 4 goes in the 8 twice. R equals, what is 7 times 2 times 2? And that's your final answer. So you're going to find the constant of variation, you'll find your equation, and then you'll find your missing part.